Curious Kid podcast. The human body is amazing. If you think about it, it's really fascinating how well the human body is built to help us with our daily tasks. While doing its job, the human body is able to make different substances that have different functions. This week, we are going to learn about a special substance that we may think is pretty gross, but it turns out it's really important in keeping us healthy.
Mailbag!
Mailbag! Love the show. I listen all the time on my Yodo. Why are boogers green, yellow, and other colors? Thank you. From Juno, age 6, from Chilliwack, Canada.
Juno, you have an awesome question. I've also wondered why boogers can be different colors. Even though boogers are kind of gross and slimy, we are pumped to get curious about boogers for you this week.
I think it may be a good idea to switch to the more scientific way of describing boogers.
Great idea, Dad. We're going to get curious about snot this week.
Nope. Snot isn't the word I had in mind. Going forward, we are going to use the word mucus to describe what many of us might call boogers, snot, or phlegm. What's the question of the week?
Mucus has a few different ingredients. The question of the week is, what percentage of mucus is just water?
While you're thinking of the answer, let's learn all about the slimy, gooey stuff that you get when you blow your nose. Grab yourself some tissues, because there is so much more to mucus than the stuff that comes out of the nose.
It's a slippery, sticky substance that our bodies make all the time. It's made of water, proteins, sugars, and special chemicals. It's really important in helping to defend our bodies. It helps trap dirt, germs, and other things that don't belong in our bodies. Without it, we would be in big trouble.
Mucus is made by mucous membranes, which are special areas that line your nose, mouth, throat, lungs, and even your stomach.
The average person makes about 1 liter of mucus every single day. That's like a big bottle of soda full of mucus.
That's a lot of mucus, and it's a good thing our bodies make that much, because mucus has a big job to do.
It protects our bodies from germs like bacteria and viruses. Mucus traps harmful stuff before it can get deeper into your body, like the lungs or the stomach. Once it's trapped, we end up swallowing it or sneezing it out.
Mucus also helps keep areas of our bodies nice and moist so they don't dry out. Have you ever had a dry nose or dry mouth? It can be so uncomfortable. Mucus helps keep areas hydrated so things like breathing and swallowing are easier.
It's like a natural moisturizer for our bodies. In our stomachs, mucus protects us from strong acids that help us digest food. Without mucus, those acids would hurt the lining of your stomach.
Mucus can be found in so many different areas. The most common place we think of when we think of mucus is the nose. But there are so many other places that it can be found too.
It coats the trachea, which is the windpipe, and the bronchial tubes, which are airways that lead to the lungs. When you breathe in, mucus traps dust and germs, preventing them from getting too far into your lungs.
Here's a neat fact. The mucus is a bit different in different parts of the body. For example, the mucus in your lungs is thicker than the mucus in your mouth. That's because it has to trap smaller particles.
Mucus uses a protein called mucin to trap germs. Mucin is the stuff that makes mucus sticky and thick.
Mucus also has antibodies. These are proteins that help your immune system fight off invaders like bacteria and viruses. Antibodies are like little soldiers protecting our bodies from germs.
Mucus also has enzymes, which act like little scissors that are able to cut germs apart and break them down.
Isn't it amazing how special mucus is? It is perfectly designed to help protect our bodies.
Mucus is pretty cool. Juno wanted to know about the different colors of mucus. Usually, the normal color for mucus is clear. If mucus becomes white or cloudy, that can mean you are dehydrated, or it can mean that you are fighting off a cold or an infection.
If your mucus is green or yellow, That means that your immune system is working really hard to fight off germs. The color actually comes from our white blood cells, which help our bodies fight off infection. When there are lots of white blood cells activated by our bodies, our mucus turns green or yellow.
In other cases, mucus can turn brown or red. That usually means that there's a bit of blood in it. This can happen if you blow your nose too much, so your nose gets irritated. It can also happen if the air is really dry.
Long story short, when mucus changes colors, it's one way of your body warning you that something isn't quite right.
Do animals make mucus the same way that humans do?
Many of them do. Snails and slugs are really neat because they make mucus to help them move around. Their mucus makes a slippery path that lets them glide across rough surfaces. It's way different than how humans use mucus.
Fish also have mucus on their skin to protect them from germs located in the water. The mucus also has an added benefit of making them slippery so that they can swim fast and get away from predators.
Frogs also use mucus to keep their skin from drying out. This is really important because some frogs live in very dry places.
There is even an interesting kind of fish called a hagfish. If it feels threatened, the hagfish makes a ton of mucousy slime that makes it so slippery that the predator can't hold on.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify is there to help you grow. Shopify helps you sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, and sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. What I love about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., and Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Before we learn about eye boogers, let's bring in our slimy little friend who has some amazing facts to share with all of us. Here with 5 unbelievable facts you need to know about mucus is Noah. Take it away, Noah.
Fact number 1. The inside of your nose has tiny hairs called cilia that work together with mucus to trap dirt and germs. The cilia wave back and forth, pushing mucus out of your nose or down your throat. Fact number 2. Your body makes more mucus when you're sick because it's trying to trap all the germs so they don't spread. Fact number 3. Some people produce more mucus than others. This can be due to allergies, colds, or just how their bodies work. Fact number 4. Certain foods, like dairy, can make your mucus feel thicker. But don't worry, eating ice cream won't actually make you produce more mucus. Fact number 5. Mucus is used by so many aquatic animals, like jellyfish, dolphins, and even whales, to protect them in the water.
Wow, Noah, those were some awesome facts. Thanks for sharing. Before we move on to another mini topic, let's answer the question of the week. What percentage of mucus is actually water?
Mucus is made up of about 95% water. That gross, slimy substance that many of us think is gross is almost all water. Isn't that crazy? I think so. Now that we learned all about boogers, let's learn a couple of things about a very different type of booger.
Lauren from Charlotte, North Carolina, sent us the following. My son likes listening to your podcast every week. He is interested in eye boogers and wants to know what they are and why they happen. His name is Ashton, and he is 6 3/4 years old. Thank you.
No, thank you, Ashton. We are so happy that you listened to the podcast and you let us know what you are curious about. Let's learn about eye boogers.
Eye boogers is that crusty stuff you find in the corners of your eyes when you wake up in the morning.
Eye boogers, also called eye gunk, sleep, or crusties, are made up of a mix of things, including mucus, dead skin cells, oils, and tiny particles of dirt or dust. They form in the corners of your eyes, usually while you sleep, which is why you find them when you wake up in the morning.
Eye boogers are made by your tear film. That's the layer of liquid that keeps your eyes moist and protected. It has 3 layers, which are water, oil, and mucus. It works to keep our eyes clean and comfortable.
Like regular boogers, eye boogers are our eyes' way of collecting junk and cleaning our eyes while we sleep.
During the day, your eyes are exposed to dirt, dust, and other particles in the air. The eyes produce oils and mucus to keep everything running smoothly. When you blink, your eyelids act like windshield wipers, sweeping away that gunk, helping to keep your eyes clear.
But when you sleep and you aren't blinking, that stuff has nowhere to go. It builds up in the corners of our eyes, and when it dries out, it turns into the eye boogers we all know. And, well, don't exactly love, but you get the point.
The longer you sleep, the more buildup you can get, which is why some days you get a little bit of eye gunk, and other days there is a whole mountain of eye gunk in the corner of your eye.
And you may have experienced a whole different type of eye booger that is more sticky and stringy. This happens when your eyes produce too much mucus, which can happen if you have allergies or if your eyes are irritated.
There is even another type of eye booger that's more watery. It usually happens when your eyes are watery because of infection, irritation, or crying. It's thinner and it doesn't dry up like crusty eye boogers.
Just like regular boogers, eye boogers might be trying to tell you something. If you wake up with a ton of eye boogers, it could mean your eyes are really dry. That could be from being in a place with very dry air, or it could even be from too much screen time.
If your eye boogers are sticky and gooey, and your eyes are red and itchy, you might have allergies. Also, if your eye boogers are yellow or green, and your eyes are red and sore, you might have an eye infection, like conjunctivitis, also known as pink eye. If this happens, it might be a good idea to see a doctor.
As we saw with regular boogers, eye boogers are also common in animals. Dogs and cats get eye boogers all the time. Our dog Chloe always seems to have eye boogers. Even birds, fish, and reptiles get eye boogers.
For those of us looking for a fancy medical term for eye boogers, that word is rheum, spelled R-H-E-U-M. It sounds kind of serious, but it turns out it's just a different way of saying eye boogers.
Babies tend to get lots of eye boogers because their tear ducts aren't fully developed yet. That means that there's usually no reason to get overly concerned about crusty eyes with babies.
Well, now we know that boogers and eye boogers are not gross. And even more importantly, they help protect us and keep us safe. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's podcast, number 283, on boogers and eye boogers.
Great job, Olivia, and great job, Juno and Ashton, for the episode topic suggestion that's not so gross after all. Before we sign off for the week, we have an awesome listener to thank.
We want to thank our newest Patreon supporter, Gage L.
A big thanks to Gage for supporting the podcast. Join us next week when we will get curious about cavemen for listeners in Texas. As always, thank you so much for listening and getting curious with us.